Where I live here in Alaska, things are changing pretty rapidly. The moose, which usually walk through the woods to get through from place to place, are now walking up the empty roads, feeling comfortable. And where an IHOP was built in the next town 13 years ago, they paved over the nesting sites of ducks along the river. And all the ducks have returned to that spot, and by the hundreds are crowding into the parking lot where they used to nest. Times like this, when we have something like a pandemic or other crisis in our lives, whether big or small, sometimes go back into my mind in my own personal life for the things that are most familiar to me. My grandmother used to teach me theology with a non-theological tool, a dreamcatcher, she said. And the dreamcatcher was made at a time that all of our children were sick and had fevers, and Spider grandmother taught our grandmothers how to weave a net that would capture the bad dreams. But my grandmother said, this is God, and you cannot push God out of shape, and see, you cannot pull God out of shape. We are all the knots inside of the hoop. We don't see to whom we're connected. We just know that we're connected in the broad expanse of life. But God cannot be pushed out of shape or pulled out of shape. When we teach children about things like this pandemic, we show them this little tool and say, see how we are connected even in small ways, and be careful of how you treat one another, and be careful of how you are clean, and be careful of how you visit, because we're all connected, and yet we are inside the strength of God. But in my personal prayer life, I remember what my grandmother always used to say. Just as we are connected in all things to even people we don't know, we are connected in prayer to communities around the world, people we don't see, whose languages we don't speak. And in my personal life, I thank God not only for the hoop that cannot be pushed out of shape or pulled out of shape, but I hold it in my prayers and think of all of those people that I cannot see and cannot touch, and yet are part of this sacred hoop within sight of God. So I approach each day with observance and thankfulness, observing the world that comes to life around us, thinking about and praying for all the people who I will never meet, holding them in my prayer, and thanking God for the strength, as Hong Kong would say, the Catholic theologian, on being a Christian. In our times, we can truly faithfully live, suffer, die, in joy and in sorrow. And in it all, we are sustained by our God and helpful to those around us. That is our prayer. Thank you, God, for your sustenance. And your sustenance enables me to reach out to the world around in action and in prayer. God bless you.